Ghana's history, as far as independence is concerned, traces its roots back to a popular stretch, the Atta Mills High Street. Along this stretch are a number of key landmarks in the history of Ghana's independence struggle. We start in Jamestown, where the Usher Fort and James Fort are located.
Behind me is the Usher Fort. Well, this fort dates way back to 1649 when it was built by the Dutch as a strategic trading post along the coast of what is now Ghana. Previously, it was known as Fort Krefker. It later changed hands several times until it fell under British control in the 19th century. Well, over the years, it has served as a military outpost, a colonial administrative center, and a prison during periods of political unrest. Well, Usher Fort would later play a significant role in Ghana's struggle for independence. 376 years have passed, and the Usher Fort is now a tourist site offering insight into Ghana's rich history and cultural heritage. But its current state now leaves much to be desired.
The Usher Fort housed a huge number of inmates, both civilians and from the political class. But to be imprisoned in the Usher Fort was dependent on which class you belonged.
So what you're about to see here is a civilian cell. And look at how this cell looks like generally. It's a very small cell. And this cell used to house about 18 to 20 people. And so due to the small nature of the cell, you'd realize that during the night, the prisoners have to sleep in batches. And so if 10 people slept on the floor, the others would have to stand by the wall. They're going to stand this way and pass the night. And then the next day, those who stood would have the opportunity to sleep on the floor, and the others who slept on the floor would stand. These are some very interesting facts right here in the Usher Fort about the civilian cell, but there are more cells for the political class and the condemned cells. Come along. So our next stop now is the political cells, and you can see this door, which shows that it is a dungeon. And we're just going to walk through. It's a very dark place. But as of now, some of the doors have been taken off. And so in here is one of the cells here in the political suite, if I should call it. It's much of a bigger space than we saw earlier in the civilian cells. And per history, 5 people enter this place, and so of course they had much more freedom. And just so you know, every single person among the big 6 had been housed here or had been imprisoned in the Usher Fort. Well, finally, I'm going to take you through the condemned cells. And as you can see, it's in a bit of a deteriorated state. And so this is the door leading into the cell. It may seem to you that this is a free space, but it's not that much of a free space. Let me show you really what a condemned cell looks like. And this is one of the cells for those who were condemned to death. And look at how small this space is. It housed or imprisoned 10 people. And so if they were in this space and they began to suffocate, they'd call for help from the guards, and then they were brought outside to this side where they could receive a bit of fresh air. Now, if you're brought to this side, you're going to stay here day and night, rain or shine. And you can see some of the shackles that are remaining on this site. Those who are brought to this site are chained with these shackles, and they stay here throughout the period until they are executed. And you can see that there's just no ceiling at this point, and so if it's raining, you're going to be sitting here. But it seems that per history, most of them liked to be outside on this side than to be stuck in the heat in the dungeon of a condemned cell. Interesting facts here. next stop is right here on the Castle Road. Now, at this very spot, on 28 February 1948, exactly 75 years ago, a peaceful demonstration by World War II veterans turned tragic. A number of ex-servicemen were marching all the way from Accra to Christiansburg Castle to present a petition to the governor over unpaid war benefits. Well, the colonial police chief then ordered them to disperse, and in the chaos, 3 ex-servicemen were killed: Sergeant Ajete, Corporal Atipo, and Private Odate Lamte. Well, this event sparked widespread riots and protests across Accra, ultimately contributing to Ghana's struggle for independence.
The independence struggle would be spearheaded by the charismatic leader, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who would soon be called Osagyefo. In 1949, he founded the Convention's People's Party, CPP, with a message of self-rule and African unity. But his activism would soon land him in prison. In 1950, Nkrumah was arrested and imprisoned at James Fort. However, his popularity only grew, and in 1951, he was elected as a prime minister while still in prison. His release was nothing short of remarkable. Since then, Ghana's struggle for independence saw a significant turning point.
And finally, on March 6, 1957, Ghana declared its independence right here at the Polo Grounds, now known as the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum. He stood before a sea of jubilant Ghanaians and proclaimed what has now become one of the most popular phrases as far as Ghana's independence is concerned.
At long last, the battle has ended. And thus, Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever.
Now, right opposite the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum is the old Parliament House. And as you can see behind me, it has quite the vintage look. Now, this place, before independence, used to be a town hall for the Accra Central District. Until independence, this place was then transformed into the first Parliament House of Ghana. Now, in 1993, when the new Parliament House, as you know it, was built, this place was now converted into the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice Headquarters, SHRAJ, as it is popularly called. And so, if you need to know the first place where Parliament started, then it is right here behind me at the old Parliament House.
It's clear and evident that Ghana's history is a rich tapestry of struggle, independence, and growth. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
Toils of the brave which have brought results.